I mean, I love the millennial generation. I mean, I know that the popular, description of it is that you're a feckless bunch. In England, your greatest crisis is when the avocados run out, and when your battery's flat for your, this is the levels of anxiety. I don't have that view. I think the way I call it is that you're a caring, staring, sharing generation. It is a caring generation. It's very interesting to see guys looking after each other. And it started, would you believe it, at the 20 or so years ago with a television series which you probably don't watch because you're much more modern than that, but it was called Friends. And in Friends, the one thing that always happened was they looked after each other. They cared for each other. And so the generation shifted, and it became less fun. Our generation was very, very selfish, very driven by ourselves to achieve, to do everything we could do. So I think that I would say that the caring bit. Now the problem is you're a staring generation. So your head down, you're staring. That's not so good. Stop staring and start getting involved. Start engaging. You don't like engaging. I understand. The reason why you don't like engaging is because you don't want to choose one thing because you think it's going to cause you a problem on the other. But if you don't get stuck in, if you don't sort of commit yourself to something, you'll have just enough of Jesus to be miserable. And, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I mean, go and become a Buddhist. But if you do want to see God moving in your life, then care, stare, share. This is the biggest shift that has occurred in the economy, because you guys are less concerned about ownership than we are. So it's easy to do a TripAdvisor check on an Airbnb. I'll share my house. Well, it's unimaginable to me to share my house to some random. And it's unimaginable to me that I'm going to take some random's view as to whether he had a good time or not in my house. But you do. And you want to share you've got a student accommodation, you've got a spare sofa, you want to share a sofa. It's unimaginable to me that I want some random sleeping sofa in my student digs. But you do. And so your assets are no longer proprietorial. You don't actually want to own everything, but you want to have some good use out of it. Now, this is changing the whole way in which the economy is beginning to work. I want to go to workspace. Why? Because I don't want to sit in an office all the time. I want to share it with some nice people in a table like this. And so workspace starts working new models for sharing the way in which we're working. It's a fundamental shift in the nature of the economy. Now we need to capture, and I'm not entirely clear how, so help me, we need to capture how a millennial generation expresses that in its relation to God and to a church.